Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. If you follow the base install of Arch Linux on UEFI and MBR and you want to install Cinnamon, this is the video for you. Let's get going. So here we go. If you follow the base install of Arch Linux on UEFI or MBR and you want to install Cinnamon, let's go ahead and hit here Arch Linux. It's going to take a moment to boot up. Now we can enter with our username and the password. There you go. So the first thing we might want to do is to check if Reflector is installed, and if so, to create our mirror list. So let's type in sudo pacman-syy and then Reflector and hit enter. Enter our sudo password. And in my case, it's already installed. It says reinstalling. And if you follow along the tutorial before, it should be installed also in your system. If not, just go ahead and install it here. I'll type in n here and hit enter. Now let's use Reflector to create a mirror list. So we'll type in sudo reflector -c for country. I'm going to put in my country here, which is Switzerland right now. Then -a for age. So since how many hours the servers have been updated. So in my case, I'm going to go with 6 hours. And then --sort, because we need to sort the servers by speed. So in this case, rate. And we want to save this information with --save in our mirror list directory, which is /etc/pacman.d/mirrorlist. And hit enter. Now we can refresh the servers by typing in sudo pacman-syy and hit enter. And there you go. Let's clean up the terminal. And if during the base install you install the graphics driver for the Intel card, the Arch Wiki recommends to remove those drivers because they are going to create problems with the Cinnamon desktop environment. So if you install the XF86 video Intel driver, you can remove it now by typing in sudo pacman-r for remove and then xf86-video-intel. If you didn't install this, of course, you don't need to do this. But if you did, you can remove it this way. The Arch Wiki recommends also to install a different package for our Bluetooth adapters, which is called Blueberry. And during the base install, we installed 3 packages which we can remove. But before we do that, we need to disable the service. So let's cancel this command here and type in sudo systemctl disable Bluetooth and hit enter. Now let's remove the packages. So let's type in sudo pacman-r, then blues, and also blues-utils, and also pools audio-bluetooth, and hit enter. Proceed with the removal, and this is done. So let's reboot the machine one more time here. Let's type in reboot and hit enter for the changes to take effect. And let's hit Arch Linux here. Again, enter with our username and the password. And there you go. Let's clean up the terminal and let's proceed by installing what we need for Cinnamon. So first, the display server. So let's type in sudo pacman-s xorg. This is the display server. Then we need a display manager. In my case, I'm going to install LightDM. And normally LightDM looks for the LightDM GTK greeter, which is the default greeter for LightDM. In this video, I'm going to use another greeter, which is LightDM WebKit 2. So I'll type in LightDM-WebKit 2-greeter, and we can also install the Cinnamon package. So we'll type in Cinnamon, and it's also recommended to install the MetaCity package, which is going to be used by Cinnamon as a fallback if something crashes. Then we need to install also the GNOME-terminal because Cinnamon doesn't come with one, and because we install Network Manager, if you want to be able to save passwords, we also need to install GNOME-keyring. Then we can install also the Blueberry package for our Bluetooth adapter. And we can install also the GNOME-screenshot. This is a tool for screenshotting, which Cinnamon doesn't have. And for our CAP service, which we already installed, we need to install also system-config-printer. And then we can also go ahead and install a browser. In my case, I'm going to install Chromium. And I'm going to install also LibreOffice. And then we can just hit enter. Enter our sudo password. Accept the defaults here for Xorg. For LibreOffice, I'm going to install the fresh version, which is going to give us the latest updates. So I'll just hit enter here. And now we can proceed with installation by hitting enter. And this is going to take a moment to download and install. So I'll be back when it's done. There you go, the packages are installed, so let's clean up the terminal. Now we need to enable LightDM, our display manager, and also our Bluetooth service. Let's begin with Bluetooth. Let's type in sudo systemctl enable Bluetooth and hit enter. Now, before we enable LightDM, we need to edit the configuration file to tell LightDM to use the greeter we installed. So let's type in sudo nano /etc/lightdm/lightdm.conf and hit enter. Now we need to scroll down here until we find the seed configuration, which is down here. And we need to change this line here, greeter session. So let's uncomment it and replace here example GTK GNOME with our greeter, which is lightdm-webkit2-greeter. And while I'm at it, because I'm on a VM and LightDM doesn't scale properly, I'm going to also change the parameter under the display script. So I'm going to scroll down here. This is for you guys optional. And this is the script right here. So I'm going to uncomment this line by deleting the hashtag here. And as a script, I'm going to put in here x_render --output. My display is the virtual-1 and --mode, and the mode is 1920x1080. There you go. Now we can save the file by hitting Ctrl O and enter, and we can exit with Ctrl X. Let's clean up the terminal and enable LightDM. So let's type in sudo systemctl enable LightDM and hit enter. And now we can reboot our machine. So let's type in reboot and hit enter. Again, we have grab here, so let's just hit enter. It's going to take a moment to load up LightDM. And here is our greeter. So let's just hit enter here. And we need to select here from this drop-down Cinnamon. And then I'll enter my password and hit enter. And now we are in Cinnamon. So the first thing I need to do here is to change my resolution for the screen. So let me cancel this out and go under the settings here and go under hardware and then display. And I'll change my resolution to Full HD and click apply. And keep this configuration. There you go. This is done, so we can close up the window. So let's begin customizing Cinnamon. So the first thing I'm going to do now is to right click on the desktop and go under change desktop background. And let's choose another background here by going to backgrounds. And we can select, for example, this blue here. There you go. Now let's have a look at the settings panel. Let's go to the Cinnamon button here and click the settings panel. So when we talk customization in Cinnamon, we have several things we need to look for. First is this appearance section here, where we have backgrounds, effects, font selections, and themes. And we can also change some settings under the Windows settings here. We have also other settings we can change, such as applets and desklets, and we're going to look for those in a second. So let's click, for example, here on themes. So let's have a look what comes by default in Cinnamon. So let's click here on the desktop. And we don't have much here, we just have one theme available. The same goes for the mouse. For the controls here, we have Advaita and Advaita Dark, and also a high contrast theme. So I'll go for Advaita Dark here. You apply kind of a dark theme mode. For icons, we have only Advaita and high color. And for the window borders, we have only Advaita. So not much comes here. So let's go back to the old settings. And let's have a look at the font selection. So under fonts here, we can change, of course, the fonts for our desktop. We also can change the default fonts, the document fonts, and so on. And we're going to change this in a second. Let's go back to the whole settings again. We have also the effects tab here, which defines the effects of the window. So you can go ahead here and experiment. On my virtual machine here, it doesn't really play well because I don't have 3D acceleration right now, but it's fairly self-explanatory. Now let's go back to the main settings and go to themes again. So how do we customize actually the Cinnamon desktop environment by adding more themes? Well, we have several ways how we can do that. One is to just click the Add Remove button here. And it's telling us that the cache is out of date, so I would like to refresh that. Yes. It's going to take a moment to do that. There you go. And we have a selection of themes here, which are going to be pulled down from the Cinnamon Spice website. So for example, we have themes that we can apply here, and we can also remove if we don't like them. So let's try one. Let's go with the first one, for example, Adapta Noctco. Let's click on the arrow here to install. And that was very quick. So let's go to the themes here. And let's see what's in there. So let's see on the desktop here. We have now the Adapta theme here. So I'll click this. And you can see it changed the look and feel of the panel here and also of the Cinnamon menu. The colors are different. The size is also different. Now let's go on the pointer. The pointer is the same. Under controls here, we have also Adapta. So we can click this. It gives more a consistent look. Under icons, we don't have any new icon here. And under window borders here, we have Adapta. So we can click one as well. There you go. So that was pretty simple, right? So we can click again add remove here and add many other themes if we want to. And if we don't like the one we just installed, we can click it here and click remove down here. So the thing you need to be aware of is that installing these themes here is not going to provide you always with all elements of the theme. Some themes are coming with every element, some themes just come with a desktop element. So as I mentioned, adding themes from here is pulling down the themes from the Cinnamon Spice website. And this is one way, of course, how we can install the themes. There is another way how we can do this, and this is through the Arch Linux repository and also the Arch user repository. So let's open up our browser that we just installed, which is Chromium. I'll go here full screen and go to the Arch Linux website. And let's type in here Cinnamon. So we have some packages for Cinnamon here, but I don't see any theme or any other things like that. We have a Cinnamon screensaver, which is actually already installed. So let's go ahead and go to the AUR here and search also for Cinnamon packages. So let's type in here Cinnamon and hit enter. And here we have more things we can install. Although we can install also things which are not referenced in Cinnamon. For example, if we go back to the Arch Linux website here and type in here Arc theme and hit enter, we have the ArcGTK theme here. Let's see what happens when we install this. Let's open up the terminal and let's type in sudo pacman-s and then arc-gtk-theme and hit enter. Enter our sudo password and hit enter and proceed by hitting enter, and that's installed. So let's go back to our settings here and go back to themes. Now let's go to the desktop here and we see we have Arc and Arc Dark. So I'm going to go for Arc Dark here. And for the controls, we have also Arc Dark, which is matching. And for the window borders, we have also Arc Dark here. So in this case, the whole theme is present and we can install it in Cinnamon. The menu will be also with different here. Now let's continue the theming here. Let's go back to the all options and go to font selection. So I actually don't mind these fonts here, but I want to change them up a little bit. So for the default font and the desktop fonts here, I'm going to go for a consistent look. And let's click here on the button. And I want to use Cantarell font, which I like very much. So I'll type in Cantarell. And I'll go for Cantarell regular here and click select. Now we can see the fonts already changed a little bit. So let's go ahead and change also the desktop fonts. So let's click here and I'll type in again Cantarell and click the regular font and click select. And I'm going to do the same here for the window title font. So I'll click this button here and type in Cantarell and go for the regular and click select. And now we changed also the window font. For the scaling, I'm fine, so we can go out from here. Note that also depending on the theme you're installing, these fonts are going to be changed or not. There is a way to change also the fonts with a theme you like, but it implies going to the CSS in Cinnamon and change those manually. But I'm not going to go through this in this video. So let's go back to our settings panel here. So another thing we can do is install more icons. We want to have more icons, right? So let's go back to the AUR. So let's type in here Tela icon and hit enter. You can see we have the Tela icon theme here. So let's go ahead and install this. Let's open up the terminal and I'll clean this up. And let's type in yay-s and then Tela-icon-theme and hit enter. So we can choose here between the two repositories. I'm going to go with the first one here by hitting enter. Difference is to show none and hit enter. And it's going to take a moment here to download and install the icons, so I'll be back when it's done. And the icons are installed. So let's go back to our settings panel here and go to themes. And let's go to icons here. And now we have a nice selection of icons we can choose from. So let's go ahead and choose, for example, this yellow here. So I'm just going to click this. And you see already it's going to change the whole look and feel of the icons in the whole system. So if we open up also the file manager here, it's going to change also the icons in here and also on the left side of the Explorer. So let's close this up and let's go back here to add and remove. And let's search for a transparent theme. There is one which I really like. It's called Numix Semi-Transparent, this one around here. So I'll just install it and I'll go back to themes here and go to the desktop and I'm going to select it right here. So what this provides is a transparent panel here, and also on the menu we have some transparency. So let's close this up and I want to install another icon theme, which is one of my favorites. So I'm going to type in sudo pacman-s papyrus -icon-theme, and I want to install also some Arch wallpapers. So I'll type in Arch Linux-wallpaper, and then I'm going to hit enter. Proceed with installation, and there you go. So let's close the terminal, and let's choose here under icons. Let's go to Papyrus, and I'm going to go back here now to the Arc Dark to see the combinations of these icons. So we can close this up, and I'm going to minimize the browser. And you can see here also how it looks like. It has a little bit more flat look as well, and it looks very elegant. So let's change also our wallpaper now that we have Arch Linux wallpaper installed. Let's right click here and go to change desktop background. And let's go here to the second backgrounds folder, and we have our Arch Linux wallpapers here. So I'm just going to select one here. I'm going to select this one and close the window. And there you go. So let's go ahead and customize also a little bit our desktop here. So we have the panel down here, but we can create another panel, for example. So we can right click here and click add a new panel. And we can select here on which border we want to have it. So for example, you can select this one here. Now we have a new panel here, and we can put here some other launchers and some other things we might find useful. Honestly, I don't need to have two panels, so I can remove it here by clicking remove. And let's right click again on the desktop here and select desklets. Think of desklets like widgets for your desktop. So let's go ahead here and install one. I'm going to click here this clock desklet here, which is already present in the system, and click plus. Now it appears here. We can right click it and click configure. Now we can choose also the font size. Let's go up to 80 and hit enter. And the text color is fine. So I'm going to close this up. The other thing I would like to change is going to general settings here. And for the decoration here, I'm going to choose no decoration to make it transparent. So let's go back to manage. There is no other desklet I want to use here. So I go to download. And this again is coming from the Cinnamon Spice website. So we can refresh the cache here. And we can download some more stuff. Let's go ahead, for example, and download the disk space desklet. So I'm just going to click this one. And I'm going to go to manage. Then click it and click plus. And the desklet is here, so we can move it around. Let's say, for example, we want to move it right here. And we can right click it and click configure. Now we can say, for example, to this desklet, what do we want to see? Right now it's file system. We can go also to RAM if you prefer that. We can say also what happens when you click with the mouse. In this case, it opens the file manager. The design is thin, or we can change this to classic, for example. It's a little bit thicker. And we can also hide decorations like we did before. And we can select here a custom circle color and a custom text color. Right now, I don't see the real color because it's highlighted here. So what we can do is to close this up and see how it looks like right now, which is okay. So let's scroll down here and select this simple system monitor and click download. Let's go to manage and click the system monitor and click plus. Now it appears up here. We can move it around here. For example, let's put it here on the side. That looks good, and that's it. So we can close this up. So as I said, desklets are like widgets for your desktop. There are many of those, and you can download them also from the SpiceLook website or directly here in Cinnamon to customize your desktop. Another thing we can add also are applets, which are going to be widgets for the panel. So if we right click here on the panel and we go to applets, the system comes here already with default applets, but we can download some more here by clicking download. Again, we need to refresh the cache, so we click yes. And for example, let's say we want to download this weather applet here. So I'm just going to click this and go to manage, click the weather and click plus, and it's going to be added here on this side of the panel. We can move this around, but in my case, it's okay. So you can go ahead and experiment with other applets. There are many we can choose from. So let's close this up and let's go back to the settings. And let's go down here to window tiling. We have the possibility already here in Cinnamon to have tiling and snapping windows, and it's already enabled. So what happens here, if I grab this window, it's going to appear the corners here on top, and we can decide whether we want to have it on this side or on this side, and by pressing Control, you can snap the windows. It's very handy, and it's nice that it's already installed in Cinnamon. Now, let's close this up, and let's take care of our display manager, because there is still one package we need to install. Let's pull up the terminal, and we can type in EA-S LightDM-WebKit-Theme-Ether and hit enter. So difference is to show none and hit enter, and enter our sudo password and proceed with the installation of the fonts. It's going to take a moment to do that. There you go. So let's close the terminal and let's log out. Let's click on the Cinnamon button here and click log out. Now this is the new greeter, so we can customize this. We can go, for example, here on the left side button, and there is this setting button which appears. So we can click this, and I'll pull this up shortly. So, and we have several things we can configure here: date and time, date format, time enabled, command visibility, and so on. We can also scroll down here. We have some more options. We can also choose the style here. For example, also the color style. We want to change the command panel here, for example. And also we have some themes available. So for example, I can click on preview here, and it shows you how it looks like for the login prompt. I like this, so I'm just going to click save and close this window. And this is how it looks like. Now, the avatar is not there yet. We're going to put this in a second. But we can also choose the background, and I'll post a link here to this project in the video description, which will show you where you can put customized backgrounds. But there are already some backgrounds included in the system. So if we click here on the Arch Linux logo, it scrolls through several backgrounds already available in the system. So for example, I'm going to choose this one right here and click the checkbox. Now I can enter my password, and we are back in Cinnamon. If you like the color combination of Linux Mint, we can have them here as well. Let's pull up the terminal and type in EA-S mint-themes and hit enter. Accept the defaults here by hitting enter. And it's asked to removing the dependency after. I'll say no for now. And difference is to show none and hit enter. And our sudo password. So proceed with the installation. And it's going to take a moment here to download and install. So I'll be back when it's done. And this is complete. So we can close the terminal up and go back to our settings here and click the themes. Now, if you go under desktop here, we have a huge choice also including the Linux Mint themes. So we could go ahead and say, for example, let's choose this dark blue here. And now we have it applied. If we click the menu here, we'll have the same combination of colors. We go under controls. Have the same here. We can go to dark blue. And that's pretty much it. You can see also the font changed, color combination changed. It looks a little bit more elegant. What we can do also to make it more Arch-like, we can right-click here on the Cinnamon button and click Configure. Then we can turn on this custom icon and label. And we can click the icon here. And I'm going to type in here Arch. And we can scroll here. And this is an Arch Linux logo. So we can click this and click Select. And now we have our Arch Linux menu here. I don't need a menu text, so I can cancel this. And now it's only the button. So we can close this up. And this is how it looks like. Let's go back shortly here to the settings. And I'll go down to users and enter my password. Need to finish customize my username. So I'll type here and I'll change my name to my full name. And I'll click the avatar here. And I'll just select one from the ones here. So I'm just going to select this nice bird here. And there you go. So we can close this up. We can log one time out. And this is how it looks like. I look very nice. And then I can enter my password and hit enter. And my customization is done. So you can see also with new fonts here, the applets looks also different. The deselect do also look different. We have also a little bit bigger fonts here. And so this is how you can customize Cinnamon. There is one last thing I'd like to show you, and this is how to customize the terminal. Although this is the GNOME terminal, so it's fairly simple. We can go here under Edit and then Preferences. And we can change here our settings. For example, under text here, cursor shape, I want to go for underline, and blinking, I'm going to go enabled. Under colors here, I'm going to tick off here the system colors. I want to choose mine. So I'm going to choose here for the text. I'm going to choose, for example, something like this. A little bit brighter. There you go. And click select. And also for scrolling here, I can say don't show the scroll bar and click close. And this is how it looks like. So this is a simple way how we can customize the terminal. This terminal doesn't offer transparency, but we can change this by downloading the GNOME Terminal Transparency package from the AUR. I don't need to do this right now, but you can go ahead and install it if you like that. It's exactly the same terminal, just with the option of transparency. Now I'm going to give the last touch here to my theme. So I'm going to go back here to the Arch menu and settings and themes. And I'm going to choose finally here my Cinnamon semi-transparent theme to give a little bit transparency and close this up. And this is how my desktop looks like. So this is how you can customize your Cinnamon desktop environment. Cinnamon theming support is absolutely great. You have lots of choices there, and you can download, of course, a lot of things also from the Arch user repository and also the Arch main repository. Again, I'm going to post the links to all of this in the video description below. And if you want, you can share with the community your customization of the Cinnamon desktop environment. I'm also curious to know which themes you're using and, for example, which icon packs you're using. So there you go. This is how you can customize Cinnamon. I really like the Cinnamon desktop environment. It's very flexible and it's very customizable and it's very easy to maintain. If you want, you can share with the community how you customize your Cinnamon desktop environment. I'm always curious to know which theme you like and which icon packs you like, for example. And I hope you liked the video, guys. If you did, please hit the like button below and subs to the channel if you haven't already. Subs always helps us out. And if you want to support the channel, you can do so by visiting our Patreon website, or you can donate via PayPal to the website as well. Thank you so much for watching the video, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.